hov.org.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow, this dusty old photo has a story to tell.
It's a photograph of Sportsman's Park. Satchel Paige is on the Monarch team.
It's a great piece.
Absolutely.
Find out more next time on Antiques Roadshow from St. Louis.
Tonight at 7 on Arizona PBS. Thanks for watching Arizona PBS, a viewer-supported community service of Arizona State University.
The easiest and best way to support Arizona PBS is by becoming a sustaining member. Your monthly contribution of $5 or more comes directly from your bank account or credit card, so you know your membership is always current. It also means no more renewal notices in your mailbox. So more of your dollars go to the programs you love. It's convenient for you, greener for us, and better for the planet. Become a sustaining member today.
Coming up next on Arizona PBS, Life and World.
Your favorite PBS shows, ready to watch when you are. Anytime, any place. Find more ways to explore than ever before.
Support for Arizona PBS comes from viewers like you and from
Whether you need a complete upper and lower denture or a denture that is held in the mouth with implants, the denture experts strive to have a solution for you with their digital technology. Information and appointments at thedentureexperts.com or 480-275-6284.
From the Cronkite Studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
A lie-in protest at the White House and planned school walkouts across the country. Teens are showing support for the victims of the Florida high school shooting.
Plus, we revisit a shooting that targeted Congress members at a D.C. area baseball practice 8 months ago. How these politicians are coping and moving forward.
And the breathtaking blue waters of Havasupai Falls near the Grand Canyon may be in danger, while residents say a nearby uranium mine may contaminate their water supply.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Fortessa Latifi.
And I'm Chancellor Johnson. Thank you for joining us.
The White House announced today that President Donald Trump supports laws to strengthen the background check process for gun purchases.
This announcement comes after 17 students were killed in a high school shooting in Parkland, Florida last week. Students who survived the shooting called on Congress to regulate gun control. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders said in a statement, quote, while discussions are ongoing and revisions are being considered, the president is supportive of efforts to improve the federal background check system.
Teenagers are standing up, or rather lying down, in unison with the survivors of the Florida high school shooting.
Their hope is to call on the White House for stronger gun control legislation. The group of D.C. teens gathered outside the White House earlier today for a 3-minute lie-in for gun reform. The protest represented the 17 victims of the school shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Florida. The teens hope the demonstration will serve as a visual reminder of the massacre and a call to action for gun law reform. The lie-in lasted 3 minutes to represent the length of the shooting. Critics, including President Trump, have said the FBI should have picked up on clues posted on social media by accused gunman Nicholas Cruz.
But one social media expert said that Cruz's posts before the attack were not the only thing that set the Florida shooting apart.
One expert tells us this attack was unusual for the amount of social media involvement before, during, and after the shooting. But he says the number of students in the school whose first instinct was to broadcast on social media was not that surprising.
Phone is a weapon, and when you're being shot at,
The only weapon you might have is that phone. It's also a shield. It's a social shield when you don't want to talk to people, but it can be a shield in many ways. So to me, the fact that students were documenting using their phone isn't crazy by any stretch. It makes perfect sense.
Across the country and here in Arizona, protests are being organized on social platforms. The Women's March Youth Empower Group is organizing a national school walkout. Individual events are taking place across the state. So far, there are events at 3 schools in Phoenix: Corona del Sol High School, Hamilton High School, and Highland High School. In Flagstaff, at Northland Preparatory Academy. In Tucson, there are 2 events planned. One on March 14th, the 1-month anniversary of the Florida shooting, and one on April 20th, the 19th anniversary of the Columbine High School shooting.
From victims demanding change to the recurring gun debate, the national discussion is echoing the aftermath of another shooting that targeted members of Congress. 8 months ago, Cronkite News reporter Noelle Lilly, who was there that day, returns to the nation's capital for this story.
As the weeks and months go by, those who survive a mass shooting still struggle to recover. I traveled back to Washington, D.C. to check on Arizona Senator Jeff Flake and others who had to duck for cover as a gunman opened fire.
In my mind, I said, those are gunshots. Those can't be gunshots.
We looked at each other and we both yelled gun, and everyone started running in different ways.
He was out there laying on the grass while we were, ducking in the dugout with gunfire above us.
June 14th began like any other morning. It was the day before the 2017 congressional baseball game, and the Republican team was practicing in Alexandria, Virginia.
9 minutes after 7 o'clock, we received a 911 call of an active shooter.
3 men from different walks of life all arrived at Eugene Simpson Stadium Park. But when 66-year-old James Hodgkinson, armed with a rifle and a handgun, stepped onto the baseball diamond, the morning quickly turned dangerous.
Everything about that morning was just a little off.
David Woodruff has lived in Alexandria for 10 years. Usually an evening runner, on this day he decided to hit the street in the morning.
I was running down the street, down Braddock, and was coming right by the stadium here, and suddenly heard gunshots, and a series of gunshots going out and going out and going out.
Woodruff was not the only bystander searching for safety. I was there too.
Where this morning, U.S. Representative from the state of Louisiana, Steve Scalise, was shot.
I was standing near my vehicle near Leslie and Monroe, and I could hear the gunshots ring out behind me. I ducked behind my car for safety, and as I popped back up, I could see the congressmen and representatives running around on the field, ducking for safety and hiding in the dugout.
Others, like Arizona Senator Jeff Flake, were much closer to the line of fire.
It was a full 8 minutes of shooting, where you have time to think. It seemed like a lot longer, I can tell you, before the shooter was taken down.
Looking back, Flake says the first thing he thought about was his family.
When bullets going over your head, you're thinking of your family. You think about what's most important to you.
While Senator Flake was not shot that day, others, like Matt and Mika, weren't so lucky.
The Sandlot, a baseball field, is supposed to be a safe haven for kids and adults and a place to play.
Mika played baseball in college and was one of the volunteer coaches for the Republican team.
There was 5 of us that were shot that day. It was Steve Scalise, myself, Bailey got shot in the leg, Griner got shot in the ankle, and then Zach Barth. I just happened to be in the wrong spot at the wrong time.
Mika says his healing process has been a gradual one.
I look normal, but I look better than I feel. People that go through something like this, that get shot, it takes a long time to heal. I'll probably have 6 months to another year of PT and working out and getting back to where I was.
Mayor Allison Silberberg says this kind of violence is uncommon to a city like Alexandria.
It was shocking, it is shocking, but we immediately showed how resilient we are, and we are extremely strong as a city.
Those near the incident say progress has been made to move past this shooting.
For as bad as that 10 to 15 minutes was, everything that happened after was a miracle. I say the man above has a better plan for me and everyone else, so hopefully we can all move forward with our lives. And I'm not going to let this define me, but it's going to make me a better person as I move forward with my life.
You just find out that people are good everywhere, and they want to give you their best. And when people get hurt and go through an experience like that, it really brings out the best in everybody.
For now, it seems like everyone is looking to the future.
We have all worked to make certain that we can reclaim that, and again, make certain that this great little ballpark can go back to just simply being a great little ballpark.
Capitol Hill police officers and Alexandria police fired back at the shooter. He was later taken to the hospital where he died from his injuries. According to the FBI, law enforcement also found a piece of paper on the shooter that listed the names of 6 members of Congress. Laws have since been introduced as a direct result of this shooting. Laws such as H.R. 2951, which allows members of Congress to carry a concealed handgun anywhere in the country. Noelle Lilly, Cronkite News.
Keep it here on Arizona PBS for continuing coverage on gun policy in the United States. Tonight on Arizona Horizon, advocates on both sides face off on possible firearm restrictions for our state.
An Arizona state senator is taking action to protect victims of sexual assault.
Coming up on Cronkite News, we take a look at what a new law is doing to prevent victims from being re-traumatized.
Plus, State Senator Kelly Ward stops by Scottsdale to address some of her biggest platforms on her race for the U.S. Senate.
I'm Judy Woodruff, anchor and managing editor of the PBS NewsHour. The journalists of tomorrow face a fast-changing media landscape, but quality news remains vitally important to our communities, our country, and our world. At ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication, students learn solid, reliable reporting, holding the powerful accountable, and rebuilding the public's trust. The Cronkite School and Arizona PBS, preparing the next generation for a stronger future of journalism.
Former Maricopa County Sheriff Joe Arpaio was a guest speaker at a Republican dinner in Nevada last night. Republicans have had Arpaio scheduled to speak since November for the Lincoln-Reagan dinner. Arpaio recently announced he is seeking the Republican nomination for U.S. Senate. A group of protesters formed to put pressure on Republicans. Demonstrators said bringing a divisive figure like Arpaio to the event reflects poorly on their community.
U.S. Senator Rand Paul rallied Arizonans and reaffirmed his endorsement of Senate candidate Kelly Ward to replace Senator Jeff Flake. Reporter Amani Stevens takes us to the rally.
And there's only one person in this race that I will endorse, and that's Kelly Ward.
The rally gathered Arizonans in Scottsdale for Dr. Kelly Ward's plan for changes in Arizona.
We are not being served in the way that we as Republicans, as conservatives, as liberty lovers want to be served.
Also addressing the concern of the Second Amendment and gun control.
Kelly will be with us on privacy in the Fourth Amendment and the Second Amendment and the First Amendment.
With last week's mass shooting in Parkland, Florida, Ward says that the Second Amendment is under attack every day.
Law-abiding gun owners should not fear, because the solution to a bad guy with a gun are good people with firearms.
Ward has received support on the national level. On August 17th, President Donald Trump tweeted, "Great to see that Dr. Kelly Ward is running against Jeff Flake.
I want to secure the border and stop illegal immigration." Who wants to build the wall? Yes.
Ward's 5-part immigration plan also includes eliminating chain migration and the diversity lottery.
Number 4, we have to defund sanctuary cities. And number 5, we have to have that accountability piece for the employers.
Rise up, tell your neighbors, cheer Kelly on, knock on doors, give her money, and we'll get a real constitutional conservative. Thank you.
In Scottsdale, Imani Stevens, Cronkite News.
Ward takes on former Maricopa Sheriff Joe Arpaio and Congresswoman Martha McSally in the Republican primary. The primary election will take place August 28th.
House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi is in the Valley tomorrow. She called for a town hall meeting on President Trump's new tax cut plan. Pelosi says this plan is making the rich richer. She points out that 83% of the tax cuts will go to the top 1% of American homes and corporations. In future years, the middle class will actually see tax increases. This event is part of the Not One Penny and Tax March Coalition's 100-day Trump tax tour.
Current Arizona law says a convicted sex offender cannot live within 1,000 feet of a school or child care facility, but they can live next to their victim. Reporter Gabriel Gamino spoke with Arizona State Senator John Kavanaugh, who introduced a bill to make sure that doesn't happen.
My law is very simple. It simply states that a sex offender who victimized a child cannot move within 1,000 feet of that child's residence unless the child or the child's parents allow it.
Arizona State Senator John Kavanaugh introduced a bill to make sure that a sex offender cannot move in near their victim's home. The idea came after he read a newspaper article, but says it's all in the victim's best interest.
It's simply a matter of shielding victims of sexual violence as children from renewed trauma when their victimizer suddenly shows up and moves next door to them.
Right now, under Arizona state law, a convicted sex offender could move in next to their victim and face no legal challenges.
Professionals like Donna Lee Sarda, a behavioral health specialist, says that the bill is a good idea because it would prevent the victim from being re-traumatized.
If the victim sees the perpetrator, if the perpetrator gives a symbol, if they wear a particular cologne, and all of that could re-traumatize a victim and re-victimize a victim, and that we don't want.
Senate Minority Leader Katie Hobbs, who voted against it in the Senate, says she thinks it'll be a hard bill to enforce.
I don't know how you enforce this bill without having the perpetrator have the address of the victim. And that was my biggest concern. I think most of our caucus concern on the bill.
In Phoenix, Gabriel Gamino, Cronkite News.
The bill passed in the Senate is now in the House and awaits to be heard. If it passes both chambers, it will head to the governor's desk to be signed.
The future of a native group near the Grand Canyon faces a rocky future due to a nearby uranium mine.
Coming up on Cronkite News, we take an exclusive look at how these people are bringing the problem from the canyon to the Capitol in order to protect their native land.
And gusty winds across most of Arizona and even some snowfall up north. Stay tuned to see how long these are going to stay.
Hello from the children of planet Earth.
Exploring, it's the lifeblood of the mission.
Human beings are a curious bunch.
What are we going to see when we get really close?
Just because an idea is crazy, it's not necessarily wrong.
We were on our way.
You don't get anywhere until you've tested the limits.
That carries an intensity you can't imagine.
You could hear people just, whoa.
Oh my God, absolutely spectacular.
It's a rush.
We ask a lot of our heroes.
We are at a remarkable moment. We're going farther than any exploration ever has.
By the year 2050, there will be more plastic in the ocean than fish. Before Professor Halden, I had an insane amount of passion, but I almost felt helpless because I didn't know how to use it. Professor Halden gave me a chance to make a difference. Being at a place like ASU allows you to take these big leaps. Ultimately, the biggest problems in the world cannot be solved alone.
Havasupai Falls is an iconic natural landmark at the bottom of the Grand Canyon. Hundreds visit its turquoise waters every year.
Cronkite News reporter Lillian Donahue went to the village of Supai, where those who call Havasupai home are fearful of their future.
Thank you. The Colorado River is the lifeblood of the Grand Canyon region, but the Havasupai people who call this canyon their home are worried that a uranium mine just miles from the national park could contaminate their water. We exclusively followed activists as they brought the community's concerns from the canyon to the nation's capital.
Havasupai, that means people of the blue-green water. That's who we are. That's our identity right there.
Tucked in the southwest corner of the Grand Canyon is a community of 700 men, women, and children of the Havasupai tribe fighting for their future. As a uranium mine hopes to begin production this year, just 6 miles south from the Grand Canyon National Park.
It's threatening our whole lives down here. You know, we have children, we've grown up here, we plant corn, we depend on the water.
To make their voices heard, a group of Native advocates and leaders took to their traditions, running over 20 miles in and out of the village of Supai in a journey to bring the pleas of the tribe's children from the bottom of the Grand Canyon to our nation's capital.
These children have so much more life to live than any one of us, and it's really their voice that needs to be heard. Granted, we can't take them and put them on an airplane and fly them to the East Coast, so we're doing the next best thing as their leaders, as their representatives, and we're going to deliver their voices to Washington, D.C.
Across this bridge in the Havasupai Creek starts the village of Supai. Out of respect for the Tribal Council's wishes, they have asked us not to film video on their grounds. However, we will take audio and pictures.
Have love, give love, be in love.
After a blessing, the runners meet with elementary school children, collecting letters that voice their concerns for mining impacts on the land, including their water source, the Colorado River.
Dear Mr. President, I'm a student at Havasupai Elementary School and a member of the Havasupai Baja tribe.
In 2012, the Obama administration instituted a 20-year ban on new uranium mining. Now the Trump administration is considering lifting that ban. For companies like Energy Fuels, it makes it easier to continue their plan to collect more than 2 million pounds of uranium from the Canyon mine.
Contamination from the mining has the potential to impact rivers and water sources downstream.
A spokesperson for the company says the mine is small, yet important for the state.
We estimate that the uranium that comes out of the Canyon mine could provide all of the electricity for the state of Arizona for about a year.
Moore also says he wants to ensure the people of Supai that water contamination will not be an issue.
And if I really thought that there would be any chance that we were going to harm any of that, I simply couldn't work for this company.
But the people who live in these red rock valleys and desert canyons are hesitant to trust mining companies who they say have exploited their land before.
We've been hurt so much from uranium exploration in tribal communities. That legacy is there, and there's nobody coming in to clean up the mess.
For some at the Havasupai Elementary School, the runner's visit empowers them.
It's incredible because I never knew that other people knew that Supai existed, and it's really awesome to have him here, really to come and help us make a bigger voice out of us.
The children have a strong voice, and we let them know that their ancestors fought very hard for to continue their way of life teaching, and they're going to do the same by writing these letters.
Right. The runners leave Supai with letters in hand, carrying the hopes of the Havasupai people. It's a message they hope will be heard far from the canyon walls, over the din of the falls, and all the way to the highest office in the land.
The representatives and tribal leaders made their way to Washington, D.C. the next day, delivering dozens of letters to the Trump administration in the hopes that he hears loud and clear the worries of the Havasupai children. Lillian Donahue, Cronkite News.
A winter weather advisory is in effect until late tonight for much of the Arizona high country.
There are reports of snow, slick roads, and wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour. Down here in the valley, it's been another full day of rolling clouds and lowered temperatures. Holly Bach is tracking this blast of winter and has a forecast for the rest of the week.
And yeah, guys, it has been a very cool and snowy day up north in Flagstaff. Now, the high country was put under a winter weather advisory today because, as you can see here, the snow is accumulating and the winds are blowing straight. So they were put under that advisory. However, this is set to expire around 11 p.m. tonight. And NAU student Seth Royal sent me this video on campus today. And as you can see, the snow is getting sticky on the ground. So make sure if you are up north, you are driving safely and bundling up for these temperatures. Now, our high for today was 65 degrees, and we are going to hit a low of 40 degrees tonight, which is just slightly below our February averages. And with these cool temperatures today came a gusty, windy day. We can see here most of Arizona is covered with gusty winds currently, and these are going to weaken overnight. Luckily, tomorrow we will see these scatter away, and we will have winds just around 5 to 10 miles per hour. And speaking of tomorrow, our temperatures will not even be making it up to 60 degrees. We're going to start our morning off at 42 degrees. As we go throughout our day, we will hit 56 degrees just around 3 p.m. And so it's going to be a cool one out there for us tomorrow. Heading into our week, Wednesday and Thursday will be just about 60 degrees. Friday will be our coolest day at 57 degrees, partly cloudy skies. And as we head into our weekend, we will be in the 60s and low 70s on Monday. For Cronkite Weather, I'm Holly Bach.
Traditional classroom techniques are a thing of the past.
Coming up on Cronkite News, we take a look at how the Mary Lou Fulton Teaching College at ASU is helping to better prepare student teachers for real-life experiences.
Cronkite News weeknights at 5 on Arizona PBS.
Fridays, it's at Cronkite News, your social sharing connection where you choose the news. Facebook likes and shares, tweets, retweets, and favorites. YouTube views and subscriptions. We're watching you watch us. From our digital home at cronkitenews.azpbs.org to your television, web browser, or mobile device. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Then join us for at Cronkite News, our weekly refresh, each Friday at 5 on Arizona PBS.
A teacher shortage is troubling Arizona, but the Mary Lou Fulton Teachers College at Arizona State University has a vision that would change the traditional classroom model. Reporter Gabriela Becerra gives us a look at their collaborative Education by Design program.
We're going to reimagine the entire education workforce.
The Mary Lou Fulton Teachers College at Arizona State University is working with schools around the valley to change the traditional model.
We need to move from a one teacher, one classroom model to something that looks more like the workforce kids are going to go into.
Their vision is to have a team of teachers with varying expertise collaborating to help students of different proficiencies learn.
We have got to give them lots of different people and to be exposed to different perspectives and different expertise so that they can start to learn in a different way.
The team of teachers would consist of 3 student teachers rather than just one.
It would be that lead teacher, and really think about if you could do it with 3 student teachers. So that lead teacher and those 3 student teachers would actually have full oversight over 2 full classrooms. And they would then cycle through in a level of support.
Dean Carol Basile says the program would also get student teachers into a classroom earlier than their 3rd or 4th year.
I want to say that there is nobody that should be walking into a classroom with kids unless they have had some preparation to work with kids. Even if they're just going in to read to kids, there are skills that they need to have around that.
Avondale Elementary School District Superintendent Betsy Hargrove says this creates ideal teacher candidates.
By the time they're a first-year teacher, they've already been with the system for 4 years. They know it, they know the culture, they're fully embedded and they are part of the system.
In Phoenix, Gabriela Becerra, Cronkite News.
School districts around the valley are already busy collaborating with ASU on the preliminary processes of the program, and it will begin to take effect this upcoming fall.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Black colleges, we're redefining what it meant to be black in America.
These are places where there's incredible freedom to explore.
It's an unapologetic black space.
Black people were in charge. Black people were in control.
Tell them we are rising. The story of black colleges and universities.
Tonight at 8 on Arizona PBS. Explore new ideas and new worlds here on Arizona PBS, a community service of Arizona State University.
Arizona PBS programming is brought to you in part by the underwriting support of local businesses. Learn how you can support Arizona PBS and grow your own business by reaching viewers like you. Call 602-496-8664 or azpbs.org/underwriting.
Coming up next on Arizona PBS, Life and World.
Your favorite PBS shows, ready to watch when you are. Anytime, any place. Find more ways to explore than ever before.
Coming soon to Arizona PBS.
On We'll Meet Again.
The event became known as Bloody Sunday.
People saw it as revolution.
After the rise of the civil rights movement, a search to reunite people who changed each other's lives.
What Thelma did was creating freedom schools, teaching people how to vote.
You haven't seen Thelma in 53 years.
She was like this warrior.
I want to find Lefty. He was bold and brave. He made a difference in me.
Tuesday night at 7 on Arizona PBS.
Coming to Frontline.
Tensions between Saudi Arabia and Iran.
The epic story of two countries, Saudi Arabia.
Just how do you stop it? This sectarian mess. Not us.
And Iran.
The Iranians are the ones who are exporting terrorism.
And their decades-long battle for control of the Middle East.
The Sunni-Shia divide about to explode wide open.
The Shia feel threatened.
A two-part Frontline special, Bitter Rivals.
Part 1, Tuesday night at 8 on Arizona PBS. Support for Arizona PBS comes from viewers like you and from
Hospice of the Valley, medical, social, and spiritual care for patients nearing end of life, and support for their families. A not-for-profit community hospice. HOV.org.
Enjoy family fun at the Heard Museum.